Good morning, Shanika and Nelson. And Nelson, how are you doing? I'm taking a look at your presentation. I'm going to start off by saying the outline is fine. I know that you are having some problems trying to post the actual PowerPoint presentation, but I really would like to see the PowerPoint presentation because I'm not seeing your final product, so therefore I'm giving you incomplete feedback. So I'm missing a lot of visual cues, any video, sound, audio that you're using, so I can't ultimately tell. So that's the first thing I want to start off by saying. I'll give you some feedback thus far on your presentation. I thought there were more members in your group. Perhaps they've dropped the class. Anyway, so we start off, your overall presentation is on who and what are stakeholders and the impact of science and technology on humans. Okay, so what are stakeholders, definitions, and who are stakeholders? So because of the formatting of this, I'm not sure if you're going to have more detailed definitions, because don't forget this needs to be posted as well. And if you are going to say who stakeholders are, I'm assuming that you're just going to define what a stakeholder is and who stakeholders are. I don't know if this is on the same slide, so where it says in the criminal justice system, in education, in workplace, science, so you're giving examples. I'm assuming that these are examples. I'm assuming, because again, I don't see how the presentation is set up. Now, this is an outline. So if these are examples, after you provide definitions, I'm really interested in see what you're going to say for your definition of both who stakeholders are and how you're going to work this. So I don't know if this is an exercise or an activity, and people are supposed to maybe make guesses and base it off of something. So in the end, even if you do this part, if it's not an activity, you probably want to have some kind of active, engaging activity to involve the students, and then you may want to have a summary message to reinforce what you just described. So I don't know if this is just one slide, if it's 4 or 5 slides, but if these are more examples, I want to make sure you see concrete visual examples perhaps. Workplace, I guess I could have used maybe a strong situation where you're having these examples of stakeholders, but I like it. Overall, I do like it. Science is kind of, again, a general one. You may want to be more specific about environments or situations. As a workplace is better if I say a situation, but science, not necessarily a situation, at least a good example of a situation where you would have good feedback. Education, same thing. It's kind of general. In the criminal justice system, well, that's a little bit more specific. Education, I'm not sure if you're referring to just general education systems. And I think these are some other challenges with your examples. They're the ones that you think of right away. If you really understand who stakeholders are, you don't always just necessarily point out who the obvious ones are. Part of the exercise is really understanding who the unobvious stakeholders are. Typically, when I give this an example, I normally have students list about 30 potential stakeholders. So after people come up with the first 5 or 10 obvious examples, let's say, who are the stakeholders in Chicago State University? I would normally start talking about, the president, students, faculty, working staff members, and then I'll start getting more detailed into things where you don't necessarily assume. Who is the stakeholder and what's the value of the garbage truck collectors, or the people that deliver the food, or the mayor, or the governor? So you can get larger and larger. So I guess, and then you can get really detailed. And then the whole question is, why is this person a stakeholder? So anybody that has vested interest in it, and then in understanding that kind of conversation is where I would use to kind of break down of really understanding the types of stakeholders. So not just a general description, but you want to understand stakeholders in this definition and then the types of stakeholders. Those that have financial interest, those that may have political interest, or those that may have interest depending on some type of job. So if I can find my favorite example to explain stakeholders, I may forward that to you all. So I like that overall section. Now the next section on your slide presentation says, what impact does science and technology have on society? Like the question, science and technology have had a major impact on society. Their impact is growing by drastically changing our means of communication. Okay, so good premise of how you're standing off. Then I guess you're going into, again, examples of where science and technology have had impact. So on transportation, on communication, on education, on the workplace, on healthcare, on digitization. I'm not sure if you're going to provide examples. I'm not sure if you're going to, how you're going to connect it. So again, by being in the outline form, I can't really tell. I think it's a good place to start if you're going to use these as examples and to continue to try to reinforce that science and technology has had an impact in some of these areas. Are these key areas, are these examples overall? Transportation, communication, education, workplace, healthcare, digitization, sorry. Are these key areas of society? What do you base them off of? What other areas are you not describing? Make sure that people understand that. Again, not sure if there's an activity or an exercise in order to make sure that students are embracing and really understand the concepts and do some kind of activity themselves to take the message home. So that's what I would say. If that's somehow incorporated into your presentation, that would be good. Your summary, the pros and cons on the impact of society, I think that's a good approach. I'm always about making sure people understand by doing some kind of comparative analysis. So if you can, as opposed to saying pros and cons, what I need to see here is exactly what are you going to say as a pro, what are you going to say as a con, understand why it's that. So by being in the outline, I'm not sure how you're going to do that. And I would like to see how you're going to do that on your slide. And then your conclusions. And then you have a nice summary quote, and of course, you're referencing your references. So that's a good thing, but I guess I need to see all of it. I feel it's incomplete. I don't know what you're going to say or present for your lesson plan. So you may want to get that PowerPoint to me somehow. If you can't post it, you can let me know. I'll give you another email address, my Gmail address, where you can send some larger files and attachments. All right. Thank you. Good luck to both of you. It was a good job overall, but again, because it's an outline, I'm feeling a little lag. So take a look at my feedback. Give me some more feedback. I really want to see the presentation, and then I'll create the space once I get the final presentation. I'll allow you to post it, but I'm really still uncomfortable to allow you to post for the class without seeing the final presentation. Have a great weekend, the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy Halloween, or however you may do those things. Have a good one. Bye-bye.